morning, off for a little wander today. Monday morning, tend to get trapped in the house, thinking I'll go for a walk and then don't go for a walk. So today I thought I'd do the walk first, even though it's about midday now, by the time I've got myself sorted out. I'm not sure I'm going to do it, but just thinking this, you know, everyone says walk 10,000 steps a day. People may think I do that. I don't do that. So I'm just wondering, I've set myself a more reachable target, which is 5,000 steps a day, so half. And sometimes I do exceed the 5,000, but some days I don't get anywhere near it. So I've been thinking about doing what a lot of people do, which is to go for a walk before breakfast. And I've been thinking about that for 2 months, and it's not happened. So I think I've just set myself a challenge to try and do 5,000 steps a day, and not really bothered about what time of day I do that, but I know once we get past lunch, there's less and less chance of me doing that. About 15 years ago, no, probably 20 years ago, maybe even more than that, but I used to go for a walk as soon as I got up, before I went for breakfast or anything. And I do remember enjoying those days, and it was the time to think and pray and meditate and whatever is your bag. I just want to get out more. I know running walks and wanders, chatting to people that don't know me, seem to assume I go hiking every day. That, my friend, is an illusion. But when you do come out, look at this. Absolutely spectacular views. The big Suffolk skies. And looks like the crops have been harvested now. Also, just try and walk a little bit, just like push myself a little bit just to get the heart rate up, so we get some cardio workout. Anyway, this all got me thinking about how we can be happy or more happy. Everyone seems to be looking for happiness, and a lot of people don't find it, because happiness is only one emotion out of many, and human beings feel a lot of things. So I was listening to something this morning on YouTube. I can post a link of the video I was watching. Mel Robbins, who's like a self-help, self-care guru, I guess. I think that's what she is. But she talked about this exercise where you imagine a time in your life where you were happy, and instead of looking at the big picture of what you were doing then, she suggests looking at the smaller things around that time. And I thought of a time when I used to work in Manchester in social work for Save the Children Fund, and I worked with a team initially of about 15, 20 people, and then that got scaled through cutbacks down to about 8 of us. But when I look back at that time, I've got really nice memories of that time. Mostly, when looking back, I don't think I valued it enough at the time, but mostly it was the people I worked with. I was very naive and uneducated about the world at the time. In my early 20s, I knew about some stuff, but not about a lot of stuff. And I worked with a lot of people that had trained as teachers, and they'd come into social work, same as me. But we're involved in just sort of helping people, working with little children under 5, and those that looked after them, childminders. So we were connected with a lot of community projects and similar sort of stuff. I think the thing I remember with fondness, mostly, I mean, there were, to this day, I still find toddlers sort of under 5s, still find children of that age amusing quite often. But I think the fond memories are mostly around how we, as a group of people that work together, our working life and our sort of home life overlapped quite a bit. So we all lived in the same sort of square mile, knew very similar people, kind of. And I think the other thing was we used to pretty much always have lunch together. So a lot of times it'd just be eaten in the office in Manchester. But a couple of times a week we'd go out to a little cafe or something round the corner. And our office was in the university area of Manchester. And yeah, so you got a very studenty feel. So we all had bicycles and we cycled everywhere. If I can just interrupt. Is this a massive mushroom or toadstool? I don't know if that's edible or poisonous, but just thought it was worthy of mention. Where was I? Oh yeah, we used to sort of do lunch, and the other thing that was really nice was my wife. We were newly married, and my wife worked in an office near Manchester City's former football ground in Kippax Lane, is it? Kippax Road. And her office and our office, we often went to the same pub for lunch on a Friday. So quite often on a Friday, just going out for lunch with my work colleagues, go in the pub, and there was my missus. And we're all, I mean, we're still in love, but you know, when you're young and it's all fresh, that was really nice. I mean, we saw each other at home every day, but it was nice to rock up to the pub and there she was. We sit together and chat about our day. I think the other thing got happy, sort of fond memories about, just some of the people I knew up in Manchester who sadly I've now lost touch with. It partly came through sort of moving to London and then all sorts of disasters happening around that time. Yeah, and you just sort of lost touch. I don't know if you can hear me with this wind, but we shall see when we get it back to the computer. Yeah, I really regret not keeping in touch. Kicked myself really because I didn't value what I thought at the time were just acquaintances, and there was a lot of them. I was really well connected in Manchester, knew a lot of people, a lot of friends. Used to have days out with different people. It was really special. And I think moving out, you know, from Manchester to London, just lost that connection. The natural connection of meeting up at different things during the week. Yes, I have tried to track a couple of people down on the dreaded Facebook, which I don't have on my phone anymore. Don't really bother with Facebook. I post these videos into my Facebook group, but that's about it really. Yeah, no success on that. I think I did find a couple of people, but I did sort of send a message, but only really connected with one of them, and they changed quite a lot, or it seemed to me they changed quite a lot. So I was thinking of the person I used to know, and they're not like that anymore. That was quite a strained me up, so that's the danger of looking too much to the past. But anyway, in this exercise this morning in the Mel Robbins video, she was suggesting don't necessarily look like the job I was doing. So it's not about, oh, that was a good time, I'll go back into social work. Well, I don't think anyone had employed me at my age, but you never know. But that's not what she's talking about. She's talking about what were the little things you were doing at that time. I think the answer to that is, well, I had a group of people that I was connected with, and I spent time sort of going for lunches and stuff. And we're just going past Boyton Hall here, who I think own all this land we're walking across. And I noticed the other day that's up for sale. Yeah, well, check it out on Rightmove, but it's just the house, it's not the land, but it's a bit beyond my price range, let's just say that. Definitely, as I just shared, one of the things that creates fond memories of that time is that, yeah, we hung out with work colleagues. And of course, in my recent work history, with the charity, I only really had 2 work colleagues. One of them was our eldest daughter, so we didn't have the larger group connections. But I do breakfasts with a couple of different people. Really enjoy doing that. And there's a video coming where you'll see a bit of that. And what you realise is the older you get, the more it seems, the more difficult it is to make friends. When you're in your 20s, you know, you're in a busy sort of environment quite often. Just turning this way for a moment because the wind's really getting up, and I'm not sure this microphone's going to pick everything up. It has got a wind muff on. Yeah, so the other thing Mel Robbins said is that you know, if you do the exercise you don't like it because you don't have sort of happy memories in the past, that's okay, you can still do the exercise. So then what were the things that you really didn't like about that time? The example she gives is, you know, if you were from a dysfunctional family, or you somehow got connected to a bully as a friend or whatever, you might have, and certainly if you're in a family that was difficult, you might have adapted as a young person or even a child to being a people pleaser because you didn't want any stress, you didn't want any anger, and you just wanted to calm everyone down, calm everything down. And so then she would use that to say that, are you still doing that today as an adult? Are you still doing that all these years later? And if you are, you probably need to stop that. You need to stop being in relationships where you feel you can't be yourself and that you have to perform to avoid anger and confrontation. You've got to ask yourself, why are you in those relationships that are just really unhealthy for you? So it's quite a thought-provoking exercise, quite a thought-provoking video, and it's got the old cogs turning. I'm just turning down this footpath here. I'll show you sort of the route I've done occasionally, show you bits of it and put it on at the end or something. I just felt today we'd have a conversation about something else rather than just doing the walking route, and that's what we're doing. So the other thing this morning's thoughts and meditations got me thinking about was some years ago I met a friend of mine. He lived up north, and we worked out that Rutland Water was about halfway between Stowmarket and Sheffield, where he lived at the time, and so we used to meet there probably about every 6 to 8 weeks, you know, every couple of months. And I remember one time, this is why I love spending the day with him, and I guess he seemed to think it was worth spending the day with me, but it always, you know, sometimes I'd just have solution A and solution B, and he'd always have solution C, D and E, and quite a few more. And it was that alternative thinking that I found really helpful. So anyway, I remember meeting him this one time up there, and he says, how's it going? And I was really struggling at the time, And interestingly, I can't pinpoint exactly what it was. I think there were just a couple of people that were really difficult to deal with, and I couldn't really extract myself from them at that time. I just couldn't see a way forward. I could only see confrontation, which I really don't like confrontation. I could only see that, or suck it up and suffer for indefinitely. So yeah, I did arrive on that day a little bit sort of negative and down, and said it had been a rough week. And so my friend's answer was a really profound question: what would a good week look like? And that stopped me in my tracks. What would a good week look like? That's a very good question, isn't it? And doesn't that kind of feed into this question about how to build a more satisfying and happier life? So if you don't like everything in your life at the moment, and who does, what would a good life look like? What would a good week look like? What would a good year look like? And it's one of them things where you probably need to kind of write some stuff down. And do you know, that must have been over 15 to 20 years ago that we had that conversation, and to this day I'm still thinking about that whenever it crosses my mind, because I'm not sure I ever answered this question. What would a good week look like? Well, as I said at the beginning, it's Monday today, and I try and do some creative stuff on Mondays, but I also lately, if you've got these little niggly jobs, bits of life admin you've got to do, I've been trying to do those, just get them out of the way at the beginning of the week. And so that's why the last few Mondays I haven't even been out of the house. I mean, if I have been out of the house, it's probably just to go and get something for dinner from the shop, which, what sort of life is that? And so the trick to this, creating a better life or a happy life, is thinking through what would a good week look like. And then of course, if you know what a good week, once you know what a good week looks like, you can then plan some stuff in the diary to make that happen. For example, I said earlier on that I really like, I go for breakfast with a couple of people, really like doing that. And so one of the ways you can get those things that I can get those things that I enjoy in my week is just messaging the person I want to have breakfast with and say, how about breakfast on such and such a day? Yeah, sometimes they message me, and almost, never say no, unless I'm not around or I'm busy with something else. And so I'm just thinking as I'm walking, there's someone, there's two people I want to have breakfast with this week. So when I get back from this walk, I'm going to message them and see if they're available. Even if they both are, that's just two sort of morning things for a couple of hours at the most, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that on its own won't bring a good week, but that's two good things in a week. So then you've got to ask the question, what do you want to do with the rest of the week if it was a good week and you were in control? Just a little sidebar here. When I was thinking about I'll come out and make a little video this morning. It was blue skies and sunshine, and blue skies have gone, the wind's getting up, and it feels like it's going to absolutely chuck it down. And here I am in my shorts and t-shirt. I do have my Mac in the sack, a little pull-out raincoat in the rucksack, so if it does chuck it down I can get a bit of cover under there. Oh, it's going to go right I was going to go quite a distance and do a loop and come back into town at the other end, which I really fancy doing. I don't think I've done that walk before. On the other hand, I don't want to get soaking wet. On the other hand, I'd quite like an adventure. I don't want to just turn back, so I'm going to carry on, see how far we get, and see what happens. May just, didn't seem to be any rain forecast this morning. It may just be grey and windy. Not the best environment for filming. So how about you? What are leave us some comments below. What are your thoughts? Where's your happy place? The thing is, we've got so many options today. I think that's part of the problem. When we were kids, I wasn't aware of sounding like, well, I am an old bloke, but I sound like some old granddad. I am a granddad. Well, lad. But it's true, you know, you didn't have the internet. We didn't even have telly, really. We didn't have telly when I was born. I think it was about 3 or 4 before we got a telly. And even then, the telly only had 2 channels, and they're only on for some of the day. They weren't 24 hours. They weren't even 8 hours. So you did hang out with your pals. Well, for us, we lived across the road from a big park. So we virtually every day in the summer, certainly, you'd be in the park with your mates. And community was a lot tighter, so you'd know all the neighbours. One of the main occupations when I was little in the 60s, seemed to me one of the main occupations was standing at the front door. And that's what people did. They just watch the world go past their house. What else are they going to do? In fact, there was one bloke who spent so much time standing at the front door to watch people go past. He brought a chair to the front door and sat down to do it. Like a bit of post-harvest ploughing starting here. It's that long since I've been down here. Probably should insult the map across this little wooden bridge. Yeah, I think it's coming back to sort of friendships and stuff and having friends. There's a definite difference here to living in Manchester and indeed in London. More so in Manchester, because it's just a busy city, ever expanding city. Always stuff going on. Always stuff going on in the location you lived. Always stuff going on if you went into the city centre. Always stuff to do. Busy, busy, busy with people. And while I like a bit, you know, I enjoy the quiet, enjoy this sort of atmosphere, I do miss, there was just, if you wanted to hang out with a few people, it was much easier to do up in Manchester. In this part of the country, in East Anglia, you don't really have big cities. I mean, you've got Norwich, but yeah, to me that feels quite a small city. Manchester's just massive. It was one of the first industrial places in the Industrial Revolution.
Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Okay, well, I've just had a technical problem. I don't know if I mentioned, I actually got a new camera, a new microphone. Trying to cut out all the wires and connectors and stuff. So that's the first time I'm trying this setup. basically the old camera had to, for you camera nerds out there, I had the DJ Action 1. We're now on the Action 4. So the Action 1, I've broke it, I've dropped it, I've repaired it, done all sorts of things. It was getting very long in the tooth, and you had to buy an extra adapter to get a microphone to work with it. But one of the things they've just done, they've made it so if you've got one of their microphones, you technically can connect it straight to the camera without, wirelessly, without any adapters or cables or all that sort of nonsense, which just adds to the bulk on the end of the selfie stick. Anyway, off camera, I don't think you want to see me eating. I stopped for a hard-boiled egg, and when I tried to get it all started again, the microphone had disconnected, and I followed the procedure to reconnect and it wouldn't do it. I've watched 2 YouTube videos, that didn't do it. Switched everything on, off and on again, which is the best thing to do if you're having technical problems with anything. That didn't do it. So I basically just gave it one last go. Went round the same circle and it's finally connected. So I think when I get home I'll just watch something, because what I don't want to do, the camera apparently has got microphones that are far better than most action cameras, but you can never beat an external microphone really. Anyway, I don't suppose you're interested in any of that. I'm now coming to the corner of a field. I'm wondering if I've gone the right way. Oh yeah, I think we're all right. I assume we'll go down this dip. So I'll fall on my eyelash. Well, I came down here about, 3 or 4 years ago. Yes, I think this is the right way. Certainly a footpath that's well worn anyway. Yeah, so I've actually managed to do it. The rain's held off. It really felt like it was going to chuck it down. Best just check the footpath map once again, because I'm not sure. Is that just get to somebody's house? To find myself on here. Oh, it looks like I'm on the wrong side of the... I think I should have gone the other side of the hedge. Because, yeah, the footpaths. Let's go back. I could, if I had the strength. Could walk into the corner of that field and see if I could get through, but fairly sure on the map. Although this, people could have just been walking from the other entrance here. Let's go back and try that again. Remember, if you want to get lost in Suffolk, this is the best YouTube channel for getting lost. So back through the ditch here. I did actually see a little wooden bridge up here. I did wonder if that was the way, but this is where we go on and explore, so you can always learn new things. Yeah, it was quite some time ago, walking with my mate Bob, and it's not one we videoed, but we came this way, and obviously because he was leading the walk I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, this is a little wooden bridge. I wondered if you crossed. Let's have a look. Yes, I think this is it. This is it. And this should bring me out down near the co-op, who apparently are good with FUD. Whatever FUD is, this feels like it's gonna definitely come right out onto Coombs Lane. So watch your head there. Well, I think I'll get my steps in today. I don't think there's any question of that. Oh, tree down. Tree down. It's that wide you can spread your hips at my age. That's the test there. I really hope this is the right way. Anyway, I think I might sign off. I guess some of you who've not been down here want to know whether this comes out or not. What's a little tunnel there? Not sure where that goes, but I think we just carried straight on. It's much easier when Bob was doing it. Oh yeah, this looks like the place. So somewhere down here we ought to come out. Yeah, I think we'll come out at the Coombs Ford area near the co-op. Oh, Monday morning adventures. By the way, the other thing I quite like about the last few years is that you guys come along on these walks, although I don't see you. I do get comments from those who leave a comment down below. Do feel free to do that. All very friendly here. We don't try not to judge anyone. I mean, if you just want to offload your anger, go somewhere else. But if you just want to say hello, make a comment, that's fine. But also, the people of this area have been so kind in encouraging me to carry on with these videos. And which is nice, because I didn't think when I started these, I didn't really think anyone was going to watch videos of some old bloke going for a walk. I think the sort of the bits of history I've shared have helped. And then during lockdown, I know people that didn't normally walk very much, you know, when you could only go out for a walk for an hour a day. I think the people that weren't familiar with the footpaths started using the channel to see where the local footpaths were and started walking local footpaths that they'd never been on before. All those things made a connection, which is good. Well, this little bit of the walk seems forever. I thought it literally would just be at the road now. We're definitely coming close to houses now, so we can't be far off. Around every little bend seems to be another bend. I think I can see light at the end of the tunnel. I hope it's not a train coming towards me. I think the end is in sight. Some nice back of people's houses here, some nice little bits of garden. This little brook, is this the river? This is not the Ralston River, is it? It could be, I guess. Don't think it is, but it could be. Oh, I think I spotted Coombs Lane, which is good because the camera's down to 10% battery. I really don't want to faff about putting a new battery in at this stage. Hey, so here we are, Coombs Lane. So we're at the opposite end of town to where we started. So I just got to walk through town. Probably get something for dinner. So there we are, a little circular across the fields of Stowmarket. Stowmarket, Onehouse and Coombs, technically. So I've been through 3 parishes today. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Hit the red subscribe button and the little bell icon, you get notifications of new videos. And I'll see you next time.